Good afternoon, everyone. Firstly, my thanks to CII to give me this opportunity to speak here on future business opportunities in the space sector. You know, many of the things which I had planned and I had worked out a presentation on that has been said in the session which preceded us, because the opportunities and the challenges did cover some of the issues which I would like to talk. But I would just go over, I am very conscious of the time, and I would only go on the specifics to highlight what are the issues. All of you are aware that this new space age, world over, started somewhere in 2000, and that was when disruptive technologies like reusable rockets, AI, small satellites, and LEO constellations have come to the fore. While in India, we have taken a little more time, and it is only 2.5 years back that the government saw an opportunity where private players who had till now been vendors to ISRO to come up as independent integrators and also take on new disruptive technologies. And all of this has been motivated by enhanced commercialization and more use of space in the private sector from defense, which was actually the primary user for the first space race, which ended with people going to the moon. In India, of course, ISRO has done a fantastic job. It has led our space environment for the last 70 years plus. And what they have nurtured here, and one of the reason for that was that after our peaceful nuclear tests, the bans which we were put under, the MTCR restrictions which we were put under, gave us we were forced to be self-reliant. So Atmanirbharta, which has come to other places later, came slightly earlier in space, primarily led by, of course, ISRO. And of course, ISRO always focused on the common man, what we are today calling applications, more usage commercially, and was overtly they were dissociated with the military needs. Now, the privatization, of course, apart from all other reasons, in India has been triggered by the global trends. And as you are aware, the most important part for privatization to take place is enabling organization structures. And like in the morning session, the chairman in space mentioned, we have an SIL, we have ISRO, we have InSpace, we have an organization of the space industry, private industry, that is ISPA, the organization I am a DG in, as well as we have a defense space agency to identify the needs of defense. All these structures have been made. The regulations are nearly round the corner. And we expect that whenever we meet for our next meeting, wherever, we would be talking what all advantages that new policy has given. Because the draft which has been discussed with us by the Department of Space and by InSpace is really very exciting. And we are all looking forward to that. Light touch policies, these regulations would be most critical for the space to develop. And here a point about certain policies which are not directly with Department of Space, but will affect the space sector are the spectrum issues. TRI is going to review the spectrum. How is it going to be given? By auction or by administrative method? And what would be the frequency bands even for the future? When these are being discussed, our request to Department of Space and InSpace is that they are the ones who have to bat for us, to ensure that our nascent industry, when we want all those spectrums, we are not denied it because it has been given to 5G or somebody else. Finances are the most critical, and of course, for FDIs, there has been discussion by InSpace with us, and other than these finances, we need much more capital. The positives are like recently what 51 billion which has been received by one of our startups. We hope many of this will come. But this will come when they are able to prove their capabilities in space. those SR1, SR2, and for that, facilities or their ability to launch some of their equipment they have to try has to be done. So in the whole story, if we have to move forward, ISRO has to be a big enabler. We feel that any changes which will take place in the space domain in India for the next 1 decade, hand-holding will have to be done by ISRO and in space for us to reach global levels where we can compete in the global market, which we aspire to. Space business would be effective and useful when we are not only supplying the domestic market, but we can compete for manufacturing of ground components and satellites in the world market, and even provide maybe a LEO constellation for the world. One of the speakers in the last session did say something which I would like to correct. He said we have the maximum people in downstream and the least people in upstream. It is the other way around. Surprisingly, our startups, we have many startups in upstream. It is in downstream where we have capability because of our IT industry that we do not have adequate players at the moment, which I'm very sure will happen as data again starts being made available more easily. What is the challenge for business to grow in India today? A assured market. And the reason for that is, for years together, ISRO was the supplier and the users were government agencies. The change has to take place where the market has to be private, the suppliers have to be private. This will require patience, this will require funds, and this will require the energy of our new startups, which I know is in plenty. I end my case here.